I've downloaded two files from the website, the loops remixularbells.zip and tubularbells.zip. This first one's got all of the loops that you're going to need to remix a little bit of Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells. So we'll double click on that and it'll create a folder with the same name. I'll just put it next to it. And then I can also double click on my Tubular Bells zip. That's going to open up a GarageBand file, which I can just put next to it as well. So I can double click on that and get straight into the project, and that will open up GarageBand and then open up that file. And once I get in there I can play that back and you'll hear that there's already the start of the very first pattern in the piano included inside the file just to get you started. Alright. So what we need to do now is install the loops. Rather than saving you working out how to record each one of those parts from the Mike Oldfield original, they've already been created for you inside loops. So if I just change the size of this window so that I can see a little bit of my desktop, and then I put the loops in a place where I can see them from GarageBand, I can now drag the loop folder over on top of my loop browser. Now if your loop browser isn't showing at this point, click on the little button with an eye on it. That opens and shuts the loop browser, and if you've got an earlier version of GarageBand you might find that button in the bottom left of the GarageBand window. So I'm going to drag those loops on and let go. It'll say do you want to add the loops into your loop browser? You click Move to Loops folder. We just wait for a second for GarageBand to index those, and they're now in my loop library. Now you can't actually see those loops at the moment, so I'm going to search for them very quickly. They've all got tubular in the title, so if I type in TUBULAR and press return, it will find those loops for me, and if I click on each one, you can hear that it's each one of those particular loops. So this is where you need to refer to your structural graph, and what you can do here is that you can find out how many times that piano part repeats before the next two parts come in. Well, in fact we know that it doesn't repeat at all. The next two parts come in straight away. So I can grab the glockenspiel and I can put it in here, and I can grab the clavichord and put it in here. Now the piano keeps on going, so I want to keep that piano ostinato looping. To do that I move the mouse pointer to the top right corner and then drag it to the right, and if I keep dragging to the right you can see that it just gets repeated over and over again. Now similarly these ones get repeated too, so I can drag those out until they've repeated the correct number of times. Again, refer to your structural graph to see how many times each pattern should repeat. The next repetition comes a little bit further on, but let's just add it here, and that's where the second piano part and the bass come in. So let's just add those and then have a listen and see how that's going. So we'll drag that one in, and we'll drag the bass part in too. Let's just have a listen to see how that's going. And so on and so forth. Obviously I would now need to keep dragging these out and repeating them. I think the next thing that comes are the hits, so we would put those in, and so on and so forth. You're trying to recreate something as close to Mike Oldfield's as you possibly can, and then just go back to the web page and follow the instructions to see what the rest of your task is.